Gunnel Ryner, the stage is yours.
Think of all the different roles you play in your life. At work, as a friend, and perhaps as a parent. Do you want to be average in these roles, mediocre? Or would you rather be great? A great parent, a great friend, and great at your job? I believe that most people want to be great. But I also believe that our entire culture is holding us back. Why? Because we live in a culture that puts most of its focus on the opposite of greatness. A culture that is almost fixated on problems and deficits. We are constantly searching for errors and shortcomings. We report deviations, we analyze our failures, and we try to fix our weaknesses. There's this widespread belief that if we just get rid of something that's bad, things will automatically become great. But that's not the case. If we simply remove a problem, we will only get to zero. Non-bad, non-problem. Okay, but it takes a lot more to get to good. And this can be illustrated with a simple scale, like this, where we have a plus at one end, where everything is exceptionally great, really fantastic, and minus at the other, where things are really, really bad. And in the middle, we have 0, where things are okay. Neither good nor bad, acceptable, average. So imagine that a problem arises, so that we end up a bit against the minus side, somewhere here. And we use traditional problem-solving methods, problem-focused, problem-based development, PB, to try to correct the problem, to analyze what causes it, and then try to get rid of it. What that means is that we only restore things back to 0. Okay. And of course, it's better to be at okay than on the minus side. Absolutely. And if it's a technical problem, we are often okay with just fixing what is broken. But if we want to reach the plus side and be really great, we need other methods. We also need to recognize that even if these problem-based development methods work really well with technical problems, they do not work as well with people, human beings, because we are much more complicated than machines and technology. Most importantly, we have feelings, and we don't particularly like to be seen as problems or failures and to be criticized all the time. Too much problem talk drags us down and kills our energy and motivation. If we want to really flourish and perform at our best and be the best we can be, we need to be in a positive environment, an environment where we can feel pride and joy and be appreciated and recognized for who we are and what we contribute. And over the past 20 years, this need has been recognized in research within the fields of both psychology and organizational science. New methods and new knowledge have emerged, methods that can all be called strengths-based. SB for strengths-based. And some examples of strengths-based methods are appreciative inquiry, solution focus, and the whole new field of positive psychology. And these methods don't ignore the problems, they just approach them from a different angle. And they have proven to be able to take us much further towards the plus side. In fact, they are so effective that they've even been called a positive revolution in change. So, let me share with you 3 ideas from these strengths-based methods that will help you start your very own positive revolution. Sound good? Perfect. Okay, so the first idea is called the flip. Flip. While problem-based methods focus on what we don't want, what we want to get rid of, strengths-based methods focus on what we want to achieve. What do we want more of? So they flip the problem into a positive goal. If we don't want the problem, what do we want instead? You can compare this with going to the store to buy food. I'm guessing that you bring a list of what you actually want to get from the store, and not a very long list of all the things you don't want. because that wouldn't be very effective, would it? So that's the flip. The second idea is to look at all the things you already do well. Everything you already do well, and to explore your successes. Explore successes. Have you ever dwelled on a failure? Pondered over why you did what you did and why you got the results you got, and perhaps been hard on yourself? Oh, I'm such an idiot. If you're like most of us, it's probably happened. Okay, but do you act in the same way when things go really well? Do you dwell on your successes? Do you lie awake at night and ponder over everything that went so well? Do you show up exhausted at work in the morning and say, oh, I haven't slept a wink last night. I just couldn't stop thinking of all the great things I did yesterday and how they could all turn out so well? Most people don't, which is a shame. We've all been taught that we should learn from our failures and our mistakes, and we forget that we can also learn from what we do well. In fact, studies show that we get even better results if we study and analyze our successes. Because if you just spend lots of time analyzing your failures, what will you learn? You will learn the wrong things. You will only learn what not to do. But what should you do instead to succeed? That's what's important, isn't it? So, focus on your good examples. Every time you're a little extra successful with something, take a moment. Don't just put it aside and, phew, thank goodness I pulled it off. But take a moment and reflect and analyze why it went so well. What did you do that caused the success? And do the same thing at work. Share your success stories in your team. Talk about them, analyze them, and learn from them together. That's the best way to create even more success in the future. Now, let's move on to the third and last idea. And before I even tell you what it is, I would like to ask you to take just a few seconds and think of something that you want to develop in yourself. A personality trait, an ability, anything that you'd like to develop. Take a few seconds. Okay, so is someone still thinking, nope, I simply can't come up with anything. There's really nothing to improve. Perfect, already. Okay, I think most of you have thought of something now. So what did you think about? Raise your hand if you thought about a weakness, something that you're not very good at today and you want to get better at it, improve it. Raise your hand. Quite a few, all right. Now, raise your hand if you thought of a strength, something that you're already good at, but you want to get even better at it. A few, but not that many. Isn't this interesting? Every time I ask this question, a vast majority of people think of a weakness. It's like we automatically associate development to weaknesses. We have even renamed weaknesses and now call them areas for development. Sounds a bit nicer, doesn't it? But can't a strength be an area for development? Of course it can. And that's my third and last idea. We should build on our strengths. Build on strengths. In fact, research shows that if you want to be really successful and be really great, masterful, your focus should be on your strengths and how you can develop them and use them even more and really make the most of them. If you put all your effort into your weaknesses and fixing your weaknesses, you will never be more than average. Of course, if you have weaknesses that get in your way and prevent you from performing at your best, you need to work on them, you need to address them. And for instance, if you are great at talking, but a terrible listener, you will probably have to work a bit on your listening skills. Or you can do like me and pursue a career as a public speaker. That's also a way. So, let's conclude now. If you want to start a positive revolution, here's what you should do. Flip your problems into positive goals. Dwell on your successes rather than your failures. and build on strengths, both in yourself and in others. Don't settle for average. Be great. Thank you.